Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're going to dive into something that honestly sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie, quantum computing, and how it's changing the way we develop new medicines.
It really does sound futuristic, doesn't it? But the amazing thing is, this is happening now.
Exactly. And to wrap our heads around all of it, we've got this super interesting article from Classic, and they're like right there in the middle of all this quantum action. Plus, we've got some other snippets to help us really get the big picture.
Yeah, and I think what's important to realize is that this isn't just about speeding things up a bit. We're talking about completely changing the game when it comes to drug development.
Okay, yeah, starting to see why we're doing a deep dive on this. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's back up for a sec. Can you remind us what exactly is quantum computing? I mean, most people hear quantum and their brains kind of short circuit.
It is a tricky concept to grasp. Imagine you're trying to find your way through a giant, complicated maze. A regular computer would have to try each path one by one, and that could take forever, right?
Yeah, talk about a headache.
Well, a quantum computer is like having a superpower. It can check all the paths at the same time.
Whoa, okay, that's a serious shortcut. But seriously, what makes that even possible? What's the secret sauce of a quantum computer?
It all comes down to these things called qubits. Think of the bits in a normal computer like a light switch. It's either on or off, 1 or 0.
All right, got it.
But a qubit, it's like a dimmer switch. It can be on, off, or somewhere in between, all at the same time. It's this crazy thing called superposition.
So it's not just faster, it's like a totally different way of thinking about information. But how does that actually translate to creating new medicines?
Okay, well, picture this. Developing a new drug is kind of like searching for a specific, tiny grain of sand on a massive beach. Scientists start by figuring out what they want the drug to do, what it should target in the body, how it would work, and so on. They create this massive chemical space of billions of possible molecules.
So they got this gigantic beach of molecules, but how do they find the one perfect grain of sand that's going to actually work as a medicine?
That's where the quantum computer swoops in. They use special algorithms, these instructions specifically designed for quantum computers, like one called QUBO, and these algorithms help researchers search that enormous chemical space super fast to pinpoint the molecules most likely to be effective drugs.
So QUBO is like a high-tech metal detector, helping us find the buried treasure in a sea of sand.
Exactly. And it's shockingly efficient. It can narrow down the search from billions to a much smaller number in less than a minute.
Wait, less than a minute. That's insane. I mean, developing new drugs used to take years, even decades. No wonder companies are going all in on this quantum thing.
Yeah, and we're already seeing it in action. Companies like Polaris Quantum Biotech are using quantum computing right now to create new drugs. And even massive companies like United Health Group are patenting quantum applications for medicine, just to be prepared for this quantum future.
It's like everyone's realizing that quantum computing is holding the key to a whole new world of medicine. So what kind of changes can we expect? Will we see cures for diseases that we thought were impossible to treat?
That's the big hope, right? We're not there yet, but the possibilities are enormous. Imagine designing drugs that are perfectly matched to your unique genetic makeup, or repurposing old drugs for new treatments, getting them to patients so much faster, potentially saving lives.
Personalized medicine, faster drug development. It sounds incredible. But quantum computing is still relatively new, isn't it? So do we have to wait years to actually see these benefits?
Well, there are actually two main types of quantum computing that are being used in drug development. There's annealing-based, which is what we're working with now, and then there's gate-based, which is still being developed but has even more potential.
Okay, so annealing-based is like the reliable workhorse doing the heavy lifting now. And gate-based is like the shiny race car, still being tuned up in the garage.
That's a great analogy. Annealing-based quantum computers are already amazing at tackling specific problems, but just imagine what we could do with the raw power of gate-based systems once they're fully ready to roll. We could shorten clinical trials, get new drugs to market way faster, and drastically reduce the cost of developing these life-saving treatments.
And speaking of speed, think how valuable this could have been during the COVID-19 pandemic. Imagine if we could have developed vaccines and treatments in weeks or months instead of years.
It really drives home how important it is to push this field forward. The faster we can develop and refine quantum computing, the better prepared we'll be for whatever the next big health challenge throws at us.
It's definitely exciting, but also a little bit intimidating to think about all the possibilities.
Right.
But one thing's for sure, this whole quantum revolution is going to completely change the world, especially in the field of medicine.
Absolutely. And one of the things that really strikes me is how fundamentally different the approach is with quantum computing compared to traditional drug development. It's like comparing a horse-drawn carriage to a bullet train.
Okay, yeah, I'm definitely picturing that. But break it down for me. How is it different?
Traditional drug development is slow, it's cyclical. Scientists design a molecule, test it, redesign it, retest it, and it just goes on and on. It takes a long time, it costs a ton of money, and often feels like you're just throwing things at the wall and hoping something sticks.
It's like trying to solve a jigsaw puzzle by randomly picking pieces and hoping they fit together.
You got it. But quantum computing offers a much more streamlined, efficient approach. It's like having a map that guides you straight to the solution.
So you're saying that with quantum computing, you can analyze all the possibility at once and find the best options right from the get-go.
Exactly. And not only is it faster and more efficient, it's also significantly less expensive. Even when you compare it to supercomputers, which are already incredibly powerful, quantum computing offers a massive cost advantage.
I actually remember reading in the classic article that a task that would cost $40,000 on a supercomputer could be done for just $40 on a quantum annealer. That's a mind-blowing difference.
Right. And that cost saving could be a huge deal in making new treatments more accessible and affordable. So it's a win-win situation. Faster drug discovery, lower costs, and ultimately more lives potentially saved.
That's a really great point. It's not just about the technology itself, it's about the impact it can have on people's lives.
That's exactly it. That's what gets me so excited about this field. It's not just about pushing the boundaries of science, it's about using that science to make a real positive difference in the world.
And on that note,
It's important to keep in mind that this revolution we're talking about, it's not just about the technology itself, it's about the amazing people behind it, the minds that are driving this innovation, and the potential to truly change lives for the better.
you're so right. It's easy to get caught up in all the techie stuff, but ultimately it's all about using this incredible power to make a real difference for real people.
Exactly. And something else that's so cool about this field is the incredible amount of collaboration that's happening all over the world. You've got scientists, engineers, entrepreneurs, everyone's coming together to push the limits of what's possible with quantum computing.
It's like a global think tank focused on tackling some of humanity's biggest challenges.
I like that. And that spirit of collaboration is so important because quantum computing is complex. It pulls in expertise from physics, computer science, math, chemistry, even biology.
So it's not something that one person or even one company can really handle on their own.
Not a chance. We need all sorts of different perspectives, different kinds of expertise to really drive innovation. And that's what's so exciting. We're seeing these amazing partnerships between universities, research institutions, governments, and companies all working together towards this common goal.
It's like a global ecosystem of innovation, laser focused on harnessing this power of quantum mechanics for good.
Exactly. And this collaborative energy isn't just essential for scientific progress. It's also key to making sure that quantum computing is developed and used responsibly and ethically.
That's a really important point. We have to make sure that this technology benefits all of humanity, not just a select few.
Absolutely. That's why it's so important to have these open conversations about the potential impacts of quantum computing, both the good and the bad. We need to engage with policymakers, industry leaders, and everyday people to shape a future where this technology is used for the right reasons to benefit everyone.
Totally agree. It's a reminder that technology on its own isn't inherently good or bad. It's how we choose to use it to shape its development that matters.
Right. And our values should guide those choices. One of the things that inspires me the most about quantum computing is its potential to tackle some of the biggest challenges we face as a global society, things like climate change and global health.
You're right. I tend to get caught up in the medical applications, but what are some other ways quantum computing could be used to solve these huge global problems?
Well, when it comes to climate change, imagine using quantum computers to design entirely new materials that can capture solar energy much more efficiently. Or maybe create incredibly detailed climate models that could help us really understand the impacts of global warming. And as we've been talking about, for global health, the potential to revolutionize drug discovery is huge. Think about developing new treatments for diseases like cancer, Alzheimer's, HIV diseases that have affected so many lives.
So it's not just about tweaking what we already have, it's about creating entirely new solutions to these problems that have been plaguing humanity for centuries.
That's the power of this technology. Quantum computing has the potential to be truly transformative, and its reach could extend to just about every aspect of our lives.
It's definitely thrilling but also a little overwhelming to think about all the possibilities. But before we get too carried away, let's...
Stay grounded for a second, because while quantum computing holds immense promise, it's crucial to remember that it's still a relatively young technology.
So we're not going to be seeing quantum computers replacing our laptops anytime soon.
Right.
Just to be clear.
Probably not in the near future. There are still some big technical hurdles to clear. One of the biggest challenges is building quantum computers that are large and stable enough to handle these incredibly complex calculations. Things like developing new drugs or creating those super detailed climate models we talked about, they require massive computational power.
So it's about building bigger quantum computers, but also making sure they can hold on to those delicate quantum properties that make them so special.
You nailed it. And that's not easy. Quantum computers are unbelievably sensitive to their surroundings. Even the tiniest disturbance can mess up their calculations.
It sounds like you're trying to build a house of cards in the middle of a hurricane.
That's actually a pretty good analogy. It takes so much ingenuity, so much precision. This field needs constant research and development to figure out ways to build quantum computers that are more robust, less prone to errors.
So the focus isn't just on bigger quantum computers, but better, more resilient ones.
That's exactly right. We're talking about constantly improving the quality of those qubits, reducing error rates, and figuring out new, smarter ways to control and manipulate these fragile quantum systems.
It sounds like the quantum hardware engineers have their work cut out for them.
You can say that again. And it's not just the hardware. We need to develop more advanced quantum algorithms and software tools to really unleash the power of these machines.
So it's a team effort. We need constant innovation on both the hardware and the software side of things.
Think of it like building a supersonic jet. You need a powerful engine and a highly skilled pilot to reach your destination.
Love that analogy. And speaking of destinations,
Let's loop back to drug development and see how quantum computing is already making a real difference in this field, even though it's still early days.
that's what I'm most curious about.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about the potential, but are there any real-world examples of quantum computing being used to create new drugs today?
Absolutely. We're still in the early stages, but there are several companies and research groups out there using quantum computing to make significant progress in drug discovery. One company that stands out is Coloris Cube. They're really focused on using quantum algorithms to design new molecules that could become effective therapies for a whole range of diseases.
So they're using quantum computers to find those needles in the molecular haystack we were talking about earlier.
That's a great way to put it. And they're already getting some really promising results. For instance, they've used quantum computing to design new molecules that specifically target certain proteins that are involved in cancer and inflammatory diseases.
That's pretty amazing. It's encouraging to see this technology already being put into practice and yielding results. Are there other companies doing similar work?
Yeah, definitely. There are a few others out there really pushing the boundaries. Protein Queer is another one. They're focused on using quantum computing to develop new protein-based drugs. And then there's QSimulate, which is creating really sophisticated quantum simulation software specifically for drug discovery.
It's incredible to see how much progress is being made. But as we're talking about these advancements, one question that pops into my mind is the cost. I mean, quantum computing is still a relatively new and expensive technology. Is this something that only big pharmaceutical companies with massive budgets can afford?
That's a great question, and it's a valid concern. Quantum computing is expensive, there's no doubt about it. But as the technology keeps getting better and becomes more widely available, we expect the cost to come down significantly.
So it's kind of like the early days of personal computers when they were initially super expensive, but eventually became affordable for everyday people.
Exactly. And we're also seeing this push to make quantum computing more accessible through cloud-based platforms. This means researchers and companies can access quantum computers remotely without having to buy their own super expensive hardware.
That's awesome. It's like renting a supercomputer for as long as you need it without having to shell out the cash to buy the whole thing.
Exactly. It's all about making this technology more democratic. And as the field of quantum computing keeps growing, we can expect to see even more creative solutions like this, making this incredible power available to more and more people.
It's truly exciting to consider how this could change scientific discovery and innovation. But as we look ahead, it's also important to
Acknowledge the potential challenges, right? One of the big ones we need to be mindful of is the possibility of job displacement as quantum computing automates certain tasks that are currently done by humans. And this could affect a lot of different sectors, including drug development.
Yeah, that's a serious concern. What can we do to minimize that risk and make sure workers can adapt to these changes?
We need to invest in education and training programs that help people develop the skills they need for this new job market. Think training in quantum computing, data science, and other cutting edge technologies that are going to be in high demand.
So it's about giving people the tools they need to thrive in this new world, not just replacing them with machines.
Exactly. We're not talking about eliminating jobs. It's about creating new opportunities and preparing people to seize those opportunities. And as the quantum computing industry takes off, it's going to create a huge demand for skilled workers. Think quantum software developers, hardware engineers, algorithm designers. These are going to be the jobs of the future.
That's a much more optimistic way to look at it.
Yep.
It highlights the need to be proactive and prepare for the changes that are coming to make sure everyone benefits from this quantum-powered future.
You got it. Technological progress should lift everyone up, not just a select few.
Well said. Now, I've been wondering how quantum computing might change the way we think about health and disease in general. Do you think it has the power to fundamentally alter our understanding of biology and medicine?
That is a fascinating question, and my answer would definitely be yes. Quantum computing has the potential to unlock a whole new level of understanding about the intricate biological processes that drive both health and disease.
It's almost like getting a more powerful microscope, right? Something that lets us see the complex inner workings of the human body with more clarity and detail than ever before.
That's a great way to put it. And that new level of detail could lead to groundbreaking discoveries and a deeper understanding of how diseases develop and how we can treat them effectively.
Can you give us some specific examples of how quantum computing might change our understanding of health and disease?
Sure. One area where quantum computing could have a huge impact is personalized medicine. By simulating the complex interplay between drugs and a patient's unique genetic makeup, quantum computers could help us create treatments that are tailor-made for each individual.
So instead of a one-size-fits-all approach to medicine, we could have treatments that are designed specifically for each person, taking into account all the nuances of their genetic blueprint.
Exactly. And this could revolutionize the way we treat diseases like cancer, where genetic variations play a huge role in determining how effective different therapies will be.
It's really incredible to imagine. Are there other areas where quantum computing might lead to big breakthroughs in our understanding of health and disease?
Absolutely. Drug discovery is another incredibly promising area. Quantum computers could be used to simulate the interactions between molecules with incredible precision, allowing researchers to identify potential drug candidates much faster and more efficiently than we can with traditional methods.
It's like having a virtual laboratory where you can test millions of drug candidates in a fraction of the time it would take in a real lab.
You got it. And this ability to quickly assess potential drug candidates could really speed up the development of new treatments for a whole range of diseases.
It's truly inspiring to think about the potential of quantum computing to transform healthcare in so many ways. But as we've talked about throughout this deep dive,
We need to approach this technology with a healthy dose of caution, right? We need to embrace its potential while also recognizing its limitations and potential risks. And we need to make sure that everyone benefits from it, no matter their socioeconomic background or where they live in the world.
exactly, we need to make sure that quantum computing helps to close the gaps in healthcare access, not widen them.
I couldn't agree more. And we need to keep having these open and honest conversations about the ethical implications of this technology. Things like protecting privacy, ensuring data security, and making sure algorithms are free from bias. It's a responsibility we all share, scientists, policymakers, industry leaders, and everyday people, to develop guidelines and regulations that ensure this incredibly powerful technology is used for the right reasons.
It's a great point. Technology is never truly neutral. It reflects the values and priorities of the society that creates and uses it. And ultimately, it's up to us to shape the future of quantum computing in a way that benefits all of humanity.
You said it. And that brings us to maybe the most important question of all. If we can harness this incredible power of quantum computing for good, what kind of future can we create? What problems that seem impossible to solve today could we finally overcome? What amazing possibilities can we unlock?
That's a question that's going to keep us thinking and challenging ourselves for years to come. But one thing's for sure, we're living in an extraordinary time, witnessing the very beginning of a new era, the quantum age.
And as we step into this new age of discovery, it's crucial to remember that the true potential of quantum computing doesn't just lie in the technology itself. It's about our collective wisdom, our compassion, our determination to use it to create a healthier, more sustainable, and more equitable world for everyone.
It's beautifully said. It's a reminder that we have a responsibility to use this technology wisely. I've been wondering about the role of governments in all of this. I mean, it's clear that governments have a big part to play in fostering innovation in quantum computing, but also in making sure it's developed responsibly. What are your thoughts on that?
That's a crucial question. Governments are essential in supporting research and development, creating a regulatory environment that encourages innovation, and proactively addressing any ethical concerns that arise with these new technologies.
So it's about creating an ecosystem where quantum computing can flourish, but also making sure it's done in a way that benefits everyone and protects the public interest.
Exactly. And we're already seeing governments around the world taking steps in this direction. For example, the United States has launched the National Quantum Initiative, which is a major investment aimed at accelerating research and development in quantum information science.
I know other countries are making similar investments as well, right?
Absolutely. China, the European Union, Canada, and many others are all investing heavily in quantum computing research and development.
It feels like we're witnessing a global race to tap into the potential of this transformative technology. But it's important to remember.
That this isn't just a competition for bragging rights or economic dominance. The real goal should be to use quantum computing to solve those big global challenges we talked about and make life better for people all over the world.
That's a powerful reminder. It underscores the fact that we're all in this together. Collaboration and cooperation are key to unlocking the full potential of quantum computing for the greater good.
You're right, and speaking of the greater good,
One of the things that really excites me about quantum computing is its potential to democratize access to scientific knowledge and discovery.
that's an interesting perspective. Can you say more about what you mean by that?
Well, quantum computers are these incredibly powerful tools for scientific research, right? They can simulate complex systems, analyze enormous data sets, and solve problems that are just way too difficult for our traditional computers.
True, but how does that translate to making scientific knowledge more accessible?
By making these powerful tools more widely available. Think about it. Researchers and scientists from all over the world, no matter where they are or what resources they have, could participate in cutting-edge research. They could contribute to these really important scientific discoveries.
So you're talking about removing the barriers that prevent people from participating in scientific research, creating a more level playing field for scientists everywhere.
Exactly. Imagine a world where researchers from developing countries or small universities have the same computing power as those at the most elite institutions. It could lead to an explosion of scientific breakthroughs and innovations.
That's a pretty amazing vision. And we're already seeing initiatives that are working to make quantum computing more accessible through cloud-based platforms and open source software tools.
It's exciting to think about the potential for a more inclusive and collaborative scientific community, a community where everyone has the opportunity to contribute. But as we move towards that future, it's also important to consider.
The potential for disparities in access to those quantum computing resources. Just making the technology available isn't enough. We need to make sure everyone has a fair shot at using it.
So it's not just about having the technology, it's about making sure everyone can benefit from it, regardless of their background or where they live.
You got it. We need to be proactive in creating programs and policies that promote equitable access to these resources. And we need to pay special attention to researchers and institutions that have historically been underrepresented in STEM fields. It's about providing them with the support and resources they need to thrive in this exciting new field.
That's a great point. Technological progress should be inclusive, and everyone deserves a chance to benefit. It's a shared responsibility to make that happen.
Absolutely. And speaking of shared responsibility,
This whole conversation has got me thinking about the philosophical implications of quantum computing. It seems like this technology challenges our very understanding of reality and what information even is.
that's a deep question, and you're right, it has been on the minds of physicists and philosophers for a long time. Quantum mechanics, the foundation of quantum computing, is famously counterintuitive. It often seems to go against our everyday experience of how the world works.
So, in a way, quantum computing is forcing us to confront the limits of what we know about the universe, to grapple with ideas that seem to stretch the boundaries of what we thought was possible.
Exactly. Quantum mechanics suggests that reality might not be as fixed and predictable as we tend to think. It brings in a level of uncertainty that can be really tough to wrap our heads around.
Can you give us some examples of how quantum mechanics challenges our conventional understanding of reality?
Of course. One of the most famous examples is the idea of superposition. This concept suggests that a quantum particle can exist in multiple states at the same time until we measure it.
So it's like a coin that's both heads and tails until we actually flip it and look at it.
That's a great way to visualize it. And this idea of superposition is fundamental to quantum computing. It's what allows quantum computers to do calculations in ways that are just impossible for traditional computers. They can explore multiple possibilities simultaneously.
It's a mind-bending concept for sure. Are there other examples of how quantum mechanics challenges our everyday understanding of how things work?
Absolutely. There's this fascinating concept called entanglement. It happens when two quantum particles become connected in a way that they share the same fate, even if they're physically separated.
Wait, so if you have two entangled coins and you flip one and it lands on heads, the other one instantly flips to tails no matter how far apart they are. It's like they're linked by some invisible force.
That's a simplified way to explain it, but you've got the basic idea. It's like a spooky action at a distance, as Einstein famously put it. And it's another one of those key principles that give quantum computers such incredible power.
It's amazing to think about the implications of these quantum phenomena. It's like we're just starting to glimpse this hidden realm of reality that operates according to rules that challenge everything we thought we knew about physics.
You're exactly right. And as we continue to explore the potential of quantum computing, we're likely to discover even more profound insights into the nature of the universe and our place within it.
This has been an incredible journey so far. It's clear that quantum computing isn't just a technological revolution, it's a philosophical one. It's pushing us to rethink some of our most basic assumptions about reality and the nature of knowledge.
It really is an exciting time to be alive and to witness this revolution unfolding. I can't wait to see what the future holds for quantum computing and what it means for all of us.
And speaking of the future,
It's pretty mind-blowing to think about how quantum computing could change the way we approach global challenges, especially in healthcare.
I was just thinking about that. We've been really focused on drug development, but what other parts of healthcare could benefit from this quantum revolution?
Imagine a world where we could actually predict and prevent diseases before they even show up. Quantum computers could analyze these massive amounts of data, genetic information, lifestyle factors, environmental data to pinpoint individuals who might be at risk for certain conditions.
It's like having a personalized health fortune teller. That's amazing, but also a little creepy, right?
You're right, it definitely raises some ethical questions. Things like privacy and informed consent are super important. But if we use this technology responsibly and ethically, it could completely transform preventative healthcare. Imagine being able to step in early and stop diseases like heart disease, cancer, or Alzheimer's before they even have a chance to develop.
Wow, that would be a game changer. Instead of just reacting to diseases after they appear, we could focus on stopping them in their tracks.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just prediction and prevention. Think about medical imaging. Quantum computing could help us create incredibly detailed images of the human body, allowing doctors to spot diseases at the earliest possible stages when they're most treatable.
So it's like having a superpowered MRI that can see things our current technology misses.
That's a great way to put it. And that kind of early detection could lead to more accurate diagnoses, more effective treatments, and potentially save so many lives.
It's incredible to think about all the ways quantum computing could revolutionize healthcare. But like we've been talking about,
We need to be realistic, right? We have to acknowledge the potential downsides, along with all the amazing possibilities. We need to make sure that everyone has access to these benefits, no matter their income or where they live.
I couldn't agree more. Quantum computing should help to close the gaps in healthcare, not make them wider.
Absolutely. And we need to keep having these open and honest discussions about the ethical side of things, protecting privacy, keeping data secure, making sure algorithms are fair and unbiased. These are all crucial considerations. It's up to all of us, scientists, policymakers, industry leaders, and everyday people to make sure this technology is used responsibly and for the benefit of everyone.
That's such an important point. It's a reminder that technology is never truly neutral. It reflects our values, our priorities. It's up to us to shape the future of quantum computing and make sure it leads to a better world for everyone.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And I think that leads us to the biggest question of all. If we can use the incredible power of quantum computing for good, what kind of future can we create? What problems that seem impossible to solve now could we finally overcome? What amazing possibilities are out there waiting to be discovered?
Those are questions that are going to keep us inspired and challenged for years to come. But one thing's for sure, we're living in an extraordinary time at the very beginning of a new era of the quantum age. It's a time of incredible potential and transformative change, and it's up to all of us to shape that change for the better. That's it for today's deep dive. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.